What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about one from Wild Eye Releasing, and it is 2047 Virtual Revolution, or in some areas it's just known as Virtual Revolution. So this is an indie sci-fi movie, which to me is extremely ambitious. I mean, indie horror or indie dramas are pretty common, but an indie sci-fi movies are kind of rare, especially on the scope of Virtual Revolution. So in this movie, it takes place in the pretty near future. Virtual reality kind of keeps the masses in check. You know, they live in these virtual fantasy worlds, and the government appreciates it because it allows them to police them and control them a little bit easier. And these huge video game corporations kind of, essentially run the world. One of the issues with that, though, is that obviously if you're stuck in a virtual world, you're not experiencing the real world, and things can happen that you're not aware of. You might be being robbed of valuable experiences. And so there are some freedom fighters who are like, hey, we need to shut down this, virtual reality stuff and let people see what the real world is like. And so in order to combat that, they send out a dude whose sole job is just to find the freedom fighters, eliminate them, kind of like a hitman. In case you don't notice, there's some pretty obvious influences here. Obviously, Blade Runner is a huge influence on this movie, as well as The Matrix. The storyline is not all that original. It's definitely stuff that we've seen before, but I actually think it's pretty interesting, and there's enough like kind of twists on it, and the whole VR thing opens up a lot of new opportunities as well. So I think even though it's pretty obvious, it's more of like a tribute than a knockoff. It definitely kind of sews together sections of other sci-fi movies, and kind of tries to create something new. I'm really impressed by this movie just because it's such an ambitious movie. I mean, throwing in so much action and like this post-apocalyptic world, then you have all the virtual worlds. It's just kind of a lot, especially for an indie movie. And while it doesn't get everything right, it gets enough right to where it's definitely watchable. It doesn't have very much sleaze. It does have a little bit of nudity, some topless scenes. This movie has a ton of badass, really hot chicks in it that are really, really strong characters, fighters, warriors. So that was really cool. The performances overall are not great, but they're definitely passable, certainly watchable. There's not a lot of blood, but there's a ton of action, and this includes like shootouts, chases, big robot mechs, martial arts style fights. There's just a lot of action in this one. The pace is pretty good. It does take the time though to kind of flesh out the story, which is nice. So you have a good balance between narrative and action. In the end, I really liked it, and obviously it has some issues. The special effects are pretty bad, but special effects in regular like $200 million movies are bad, so it's hard to be overly critical for that. It's definitely on par with like a sci-fi or the Asylum type movie, so I can't really knock it for that. I wish the story was a little bit more original, and I wish the performances were a little bit better, but overall I think this movie does a lot with what it had, and definitely shoots for the stars and doesn't land there, but it definitely is watchable. So if you're a fan of indie sci-fi, I would definitely check it out. The DVD is from Wild Eye Releasing, and it's got deleted scenes, a featurette about the music, concept art to film, director interview, more featurettes, trailers. So it's got a lot of stuff on it. The transfer looks good, but this movie has such cool visuals. I wish you could have gotten a Blu-ray release, and I think there actually is a on-demand Blu-ray release if you go to Amazon. Like you can get a Blu-ray burnt Blu-ray copy. So I don't know. I wasn't able to check that out, but the DVD looks good, and I would think that the Blu-ray would look, even better. And this is definitely a movie where you want the best visual presentation because the visuals are such a huge part of the movie. So if you're able to get that Blu-ray version, I would check that one out. But either way, if you like indie sci-fi, definitely check out 2047 Virtual Revolution from Wild Eye Movies. If you want to read my full write-up of it, I just posted it hot off the presses at markfusion.com. There's also over 1,000 other movie reviews there. There's also hundreds and hundreds of video reviews in this movie review playlist here on YouTube. If you want to check out some of my older videos, that's a great way to help me and build up my minute count, build up my view count, and help me jump through all these different hoops YouTube forces on us small channels. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at Mark Fusion. You can go to Patreon and get exclusive content for $5 a month. You can also go to Letterboxd, and I post there what I'm watching, so you can get an idea of what might be coming up on the channel soon. If you're interested in that kind of thing. The best thing you can do though to help me out is just to check out those older videos, and also to drop a sub if you like the videos. That would really help me out. It's a free, easy, direct way to support me and help me to continue to make content. So thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.